Welcome everybody to Ecophysiotherapy Presents Health, Wellness, and Lifestyle. My name is Madeline Golick and I'm a pelvic health physiotherapist and the owner of Ecophysiotherapy. And I'm very, very excited to welcome Karen Petko, our registered kinesiologist, to the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Before we get started into an exciting conversation, I just want to remind everybody that this is a pre-recorded video. All the contact details will be available at the end of the video, as well as in the description of the video. So without further ado, I guess we should get started. So I thought maybe the first question we would get into is, what got you into kinesiology? Like, is it something you knew you always wanted to do?
So when I was young, I was very involved in sports and dance and gymnastics and things. And in grade 13, we had a course that was involving learning about anatomy, biomechanics, nutrition. So I decided that would be the perfect introduction for me to get into kinesiology at the university level.
Amazing. What kind of sports were you into?
I did lots of cheerleading, rhythmic gymnastics, Ukrainian dance.
Yeah, so
always
a lot of
active ballet. Yeah.
Okay. So you were always kind of interested in how the body moves, and then of course when the course came on, and I just fell in love with anatomy, learning all the little details of like how the body moves and functions it's absolutely fascinating and amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So you did a 4-year undergraduate? Where did you?
University of Western.
Awesome, yeah, great school. And then after you completed kinesiology, like, where did your interest take you within this field?
So I wanted to continue on into physiotherapy. So I applied the 1 year, and of course it's very competitive to get into. So unfortunately I didn't get in, so I started working in a rehab clinic, and once I entered the workforce, I've been there ever since.
Yeah, well, and of course you've been with us for,
Yes.
well, not specifically with Ecophysio, but with High Tech Physio since
2001.
2001, and then of course when we opened this location in 2014, you've been helping us out here and have been sort of an invaluable member of our team. So so you wrote a book. So just for everybody, Karen did write this book. It's called Core Stability on the Ball, and I'm wondering, what led you to want to write an exercise book?
So when the ball became popular in the fitness industry, I started teaching exercises with it in the rehab setting. And then when I tried to research to learn more exercises, all the books were geared towards more advanced levels. So athletes, people who work out in the gym. So it was a little too intense for me to take into the rehab setting. So I felt there was a need to write something that's a little bit more beginner-based exercises, but people can still follow and not injure themselves while doing it in their home.
Absolutely. No, it's fantastic. Why did you choose to focus in on core stability?
So having a strong core and a strong back is really important. That's where your powerhouse is. So once we start to strengthen the core, everyday activities will get easier, less prone for injuries, very effective when you're playing sports. So I wanted to focus more on strengthening your abdominals as well as getting your back strong, because we do a lot of lifting and things like squatting on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And maybe I'll kind of add a little into that for the audience. So the core is our deep muscular system. So what the core actually does is it activates prior to movement. So before we move our arms, before we move our legs, these muscles have to activate to provide support. And it's important that those muscles have some strength and endurance to them, right? Because, you might be lifting or you might have to repeatedly lift. And if you don't have the endurance of your core muscles, then the energy goes through the muscle into the ligaments and into the bones. And of course, if you're a little bit older and have some, maybe some changes to the bone structure of the low back, like that can become very, very sensitive and painful.
Right.
And I thought it might be useful to also just maybe let the audience know when we're talking about the core, we're talking about 4 specific muscles. We're talking about the diaphragm. So a lot of people, when they're exercising, don't breathe very well.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And that's an important aspect
Very.
when you're doing core stability. We have the transverse abdominus, so like the deep abdominal muscle. It's kind of like a seat belt that holds us and supports us from the front. We also have multifidus, which is a low back muscle, very, very deep, sits right across the spine. And then, of course, the pelvic floor muscles, which is kind of my specialty. But the 4 of them are basically like gears in a clock, right? They all kind of need to work together. And I find what's great about the ball is that it's very supportive as well. Yes. Like it can be challenging, but it can be supportive.
Yes.
Especially for beginners, right? When they're getting started.
Yes, very easy to work with. In my book, I have a lot of positioning with the pictures and descriptions. So once you get past the beginner level, you can get more into the advanced, and it also describes which muscles you're working. So you can kind of understand what you're doing.
Yeah. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about, like, is it just strengthening, or what else? What are people getting from the book?
So I have a section of just strengthening, then I have a section of stretches, mainly for the low back, lower legs, and then a little bit of like orientation, like sitting on the ball and kind of getting comfortable moving around and activating your core with breathing.
Excellent. Yeah, so a lot of really great information for people to access there, and figuring out what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yes.
I wanted to find out from you what were some of the challenges you ran into writing this book, and how did you overcome them? People say writer's block, or I'm curious.
So I think the number one thing is trying to figure out which exercises to choose, because there's endless amount of exercises, and I think I had like pages and pages of ideas, and I wanted to really bring it down to a target of who our clients are and what exercise they would benefit most out of. So I think just narrowing down to which ones were the most important was the biggest challenge.
So were you just kind of grouping them as you were you have all these papers, were you grouping them by a theme, by a topic?
I think by the theme of the core is what got me to focus more on the ones that are just targeting the core muscles, because it could be endless exercises you can do for upper body, lower body. So
right.
I wanted to just narrow it down and just be specific.
Yeah, it's good to know, because maybe in the future I'll think about writing one myself, and I'm curious as to kind of what some of the struggles
you have to stay focused.
Yes, okay. I wanted to find out from you, what are some roadblocks our listeners should be aware of when starting an exercise program? Because oftentimes people get very excited, especially with like the New Year resolutions coming up. Where do people get stuck?
I think the biggest problem is staying committed. You have to find something you're passionate about and you enjoy. And it's just like when you wake up and you brush your teeth every day, you get dressed, you need something that, an activity that you're going to commit to at least, if not every day, 2 to 3 times a week. And once it's something you enjoy, whether it's Tai Chi, yoga, Zumba, then you'll get the benefits, and you'll stay with it.
Yeah. What about, bringing a friend with you?
That is a very good idea too.
Yeah,
yes.
Bringing a friend, finding an activity that you're interested in. And I think importantly is like, why are you doing it? Why do you want to get fit? Really getting down to the core of why is this something important to you. I was listening somewhere that asking yourself why 3 times really helps you get down to the core of, especially when you're trying to make a change. Well, why is it important? Well, I want to get healthier. I want to get fit. Okay, well, why do you want to get healthy and fit? Well, because I want to be able to run around with my kids and, be able to do activities with them. And then, well, why is that important? Then you start to get down to that really big sort of metaphysical kind of question of like purpose. And I think if you can get clear about that, that's definitely a helpful thing for when you don't feel like exercising. Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting piece that somebody had come up with, because exercise is hard. It's, you have to challenge your body, and
Yes.
you just need to develop that routine, and then your body becomes so much better at exercising, and it becomes so much better at recovery. But that first little bit,
It's hard in the beginning, but then once you get a part of your lifestyle, you'll notice you'll be eating better and cleaner, you'll be drinking more, so everything will tie in, you'll feel good overall, and then it's part of your lifestyle, so you can reap all the benefits.
absolutely. And we won't beat the horse in terms of all the exercise benefits. I think most people are aware that good for your heart, good for your lungs, stress, absolutely.
Yes.
Injury prevention. They find that people who exercise actually, even though they might experience pain, typically report experiencing less pain than people that don't exercise. I mean, we see that in the physio clinic all the time, right? You see the more fit people, like, they seem to be able to push through and get better faster than, people who don't consistently exercise.
Yes.
So I was wondering, what are some success tips that you would want to impart to the listeners? Like, whether it's like a habit that you do, or a mindset, or a mantra, or anything, just something that maybe a listener could take with them and test out to help them be successful at an activity.
Well, I think like I said before, the thing that I think is the most important is trying to find something you enjoy. And that way you'll stay committed. Like for me, it's yoga, and I thoroughly enjoy. I mean, it's very tough when I do the hot yoga class, but when I come out of it, my mind is clear, and I feel very good, and it's something I just keep coming back to. If it's something like a spinning class, I don't enjoy as much, so I'm not going to be staying committed, and I probably won't show up the next time. But if it's something that you really finding benefits, and you listen to your body, you feel good after, you have to incorporate that.
Okay. So my next question to that is, what about when you wake up? Let's just say if you're doing a yoga class and you're just like, it's cold outside, it's rainy, I'm tired, I don't feel like it. What do you say to yourself to motivate yourself to show up to that class?
I say that when I finish the class, I will feel better. So just suck it up, get dressed, and go.
Yeah. Because I find similarly, like for training, today, my spouse asked me, he's like, are you going to go training? And I was like, oh, I'm tired and kind of feel a little unwell. It's kind of cloudy today and I really don't feel like it. And then, once I sort of woke up, I was like, no, I got to go. Like, I haven't been this week. I got to go. I'm going to feel great. I know once I'm there,
yes.
Like, I feel so good there, and when I get home, I feel so much better. And I have actually more energy than I did before I left.
No, it's true. Yeah,
it's totally true. Okay. So this is kind of a sidebar. What profession, other than your own, would you like to attempt? If, like, money and time were not an issue, like, if you could do anything other than kinesiology, out of curiosity, what would that be?
I think maybe something in the travel industry, because I love to travel, so I'm not sure exactly what, but something with traveling. My husband and I travel every year, and we like to go to different countries and kind of submerge ourselves in the culture and learn how they live, eat the food, learn the language. So something in that industry probably I would pursue.
Oh, that's amazing. So when you travel, like, in order to immerse yourself, are you staying in an all-inclusive? Are you looking and seeking out being outside of resorts? Like, how are you immersing yourself?
We look for something outside the all-inclusive, so whether a house or a guest house or villa, so we're kind of immersed with the culture. So usually somewhere like close to the beach or towns where we can still buy our own food, cook, and then really experience how the people live.
Yeah, I think, for us, we do the same. We travel, we go off resort, we hang out with, the local
Locals,
people
yes.
in the area. And it definitely makes for for us, it makes it a very rich vacation experience.
Yes, definitely.
Although, of course, not for everybody. I mean, I enjoy cooking and my time off when I have time. I'm not rushed. Using local ingredients and just being able to be creative.
Yes.
I find really, really good for the soul. Awesome. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, any words of wisdom for new kinesiologists entering the field? Like, knowing what you know now, is there something that you would tell yourself when you first got out of school?
I think what I would say is just to be passionate about what you're doing, be dedicated and willing to learn, and then you'll be successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, great tips. I mean, definitely something I would say to myself, just don't worry, you're going to, over time, you learn things, you're going to figure out, as long as you are approaching with passion, you'll end up in the right place.
You'll succeed, yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to just talk a little bit because, for Christmas time coming up, for the holidays, we're going to be doing a little special with your book. So for our viewers, if you're listening and would like to take part in this special offer, it's running till December 31st, 2017, in case somebody's watching this later down the road. So we're going to have a copy of Core Stability on the Ball, correct?
Yes.
Right? Copy of that. And then it's going to come with a ball. So I think it's a 65 centimeter ball. So with the ball and the book, you're going to be offering it
$30.
$30 plus HST. So if you want to take advantage of the holiday offer, just contact us and we'll get you set up, of course, while supplies last. So you don't want to wait too long. But if you think of somebody who, is already kind of thinking about, going to the gym or wanting to exercise or something as part of their New Year's resolution, and you're not really sure what gift to get them, this might be the thing to do. Amazing. Anything else that you wanted to say to the listeners? Any words of wisdom? Anything you want to impart?
Hopefully we've touched some people today so they can maybe start, if they are not exercising, they can start somewhere small and start a program and get involved and overall feel better for the new year.
Yeah, and I was going to say, we should probably also let the listeners know that you can design exercise programs.
Yes.
Right? Like you do postural assessments.
Yes.
You can also do an upper and lower extremity assessment, kind of test. Yeah, muscle testing.
Yes.
Muscle length. I think you're
Yes.
testing flexibility,
Yes.
and then based on that information, based on the client's level of activity and knowledge, you can then design a program.
Yes, definitely.
So that is also an option as well if you're thinking, well, you know what, I want to, get active, I want to use this book, but I don't really know how, come and see Karen and she will get you set up with a program. And of course, if clients wanted to, they could follow up with you, progress, or just even get some coaching as to how to get started.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because we want people to be safe, and we want we want everybody to know what the guiding principles of getting active is, how to stretch properly, how to warm up. So we obviously want people entering the new year becoming active in a safe manner.
Yes, definitely.
So if you're unsure, definitely get in contact with us and seek out some great advice and some help. And I just wanted to, thank you so much for coming on the show, telling us a little bit more about you. I know a lot of our clients know you very well, but I wanted to just showcase the amazing things that you do and contribute to the rehab clinic with listeners who might not be familiar with you.
Thank you for having me.
It's okay. Bye.